Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, please do me a favor and subscribe. You would really be helping us out. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actress and writer Rong Fu with me. So welcome, Rong.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I know it's so weird when I have to do the intro, and we've been talking for like 10 minutes before I hit record.
They never know.
But now I've given it away. Now they know, but the
whole thing is scripted.
You dropped in. Yeah, you just dropped in. As soon as I hit record, boom, you were there. First time we ever spoke. It's a balancing act because you have to have a little, I think, for a good interview, you need that minute or two of rapport building.
Of course, yeah.
To get comfortable. That way it doesn't seem like an interview.
Yeah. It can be very jarring to just jump right into it. So
well,
I'm glad
yeah,
we got to chit chat.
Jumped in with a microphone and start asking you questions. That's not good.
It's an interrogation.
That's right. So happy that you're on the podcast. Big fan of yours.
Oh,
it was fun seeing you come on the new Star Trek show, Strange New Worlds, because I'd seen you in other stuff. I'm like, oh, I know her.
You have. I'm always so surprised.
Well, so I'm jumping out of order, but you've had some guest spots on some nerdy shows before Star Trek. So like you were on an episode of Warehouse 13.
Yeah, that was my first gig ever.
It
was an episode of Warehouse 13. It was my
Really?
first time ever on a TV set. And one of my friends, he was very sweet because he watched the show and I didn't tell him I was on it. And he was like, I couldn't believe you were on it. He downloaded the episode. He saved my scene on his laptop. And then when we got together, he would pull it up and show it to everyone.
That's a good friend.
It's a good friend. And then later on, when I needed footage for my demo reel, I was like, Peter, can you send that to me? Because I need that clip.
Well, and then you showed up on Working Moms.
Working Moms. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, my daughter turned me on to that show. And then we were lucky enough to get some of the actresses, to come on the podcast. And she did those with me. And she does not do podcasts, but she was like, I'll do those with you, Dad. And I was like, okay.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so we saw you on there.
Oh, wow. That's so nice of you. Most of the time when I tell people, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying most of the time when I tell people that I'm an actor, they're like, oh, have I seen you in anything? I'm like, well, if you had to ask. No.
But you've been on a bunch of stuff. And tell me if this one's right, because I watched this show and I couldn't even tell you where I watched it, maybe Epics, but it's called Condor.
Condor, yeah.
Did you do an episode or maybe a few?
Yeah, I was in the last episode of season 2.
You were like a CIA person.
I was, yeah. I was kind of showing him into the new office, trying to take down the Chinese and the Africans or something like that. And it was actually, I wonder what happened to that show because I thought it was kind of leading up to a season 3. And I guess.
Well, that's what I thought because I'm pretty sure it was on Epics. I think I watched it on Epics, but I got through the first 2 seasons and then we've just been waiting. So I never heard it was canceled.
That's me neither. So I
thought it was a good show.
Yeah.
It's a good spy show.
Yeah. Maybe they'll pick it up again.
Yeah, I thought that was you on there. See, I've seen you on a few things.
Oh, wow. You're really good.
It's like if I was a superhero, it would be the lamest superpower because that's what I do. I can recognize when I've seen people in different things, which helps with the podcast, but doesn't really have any other application.
Oh man, I think that's such a great skill to have. I think I have the opposite of it, which is not a superpower, but just the detriment. I'm always so nervous. I feel like I can always recognize people, but I have a hard time placing them. And so I'm always so nervous when I see someone that I think I recognize because I'm afraid to get it wrong.
But it works that way with me for TV and movies. Mm-hmm. But in real life, it doesn't work that way. Because I'm the same way. I recognize people I know that I know them and they know me, but I couldn't tell you, I had no clue what their name is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe even where I know them from.
Yeah, or so it's just a feeling.
And I've been wrong a few times. It
Yes.
turned out we actually didn't know each other.
Yeah, no.
I spent 20 years running call centers
Oh.
here in West Virginia. So I did DirecTV and Ticketmaster and some of the bigger ones. So, like, we're a small state, small little area. So at some point, I think everybody in the state worked at the call center because I recognize everybody, which is, but I don't know them. I've just at
Yes.
some point, I've probably crossed paths with them.
Oh, interesting.
Well, you
I
probably
watched.
get that though on set. You probably run into so many people. There's no way you can remember everybody.
Well, it's especially hard with everybody wearing masks now
Oh yeah.
when we're filming. So especially with the crew, I remember
Are
when
you
we
still
wrapped.
wearing the mask?
No, we're not so much anymore. It depends on the set. Sometimes they have slightly different protocols.
Yeah, yeah.
But for the most part, like on Star Trek, for example, we have like this plastic shield that
Yeah.
really doesn't do
Better.
much.
It doesn't do much, but it's
It doesn't
better
do
than
much.
covering your face all the way.
Yeah, so it doesn't mess up with your makeup and stuff when you're not filming. But yeah, I remember when we wrapped last season, and it was the kind of the last day, and some of the crew members kind of had their masks were like taken down a little just to say goodbye and stuff. And I was just so shocked by all the faces. They're just like, wait, I thought I knew what you looked like, but I have no idea what you look like. And it's like, you're so handsome.
Wasn't it weird, like when it first started to ease up a little bit as far as the restrictions, and you started like you stopped wearing a mask, or maybe you saw other people did it seemed weird. It didn't seem right.
It is weird. Yeah. I mean, here in Ontario, they just kind of lifted the mask mandate like maybe about a month ago. So people are kind of slowly transitioning to not wearing a mask, myself as well, just kind of like, just reading the room, being like, should I wear a mask? Should I not wear a mask?
It's so difficult, I think, because it's not like it's went away.
Yeah, no.
We've kind of just collectively decided, okay, it's went on long enough.
We're just all going to get it now.
We're just all going to get it now.
Yeah.
We just do, okay. I don't know. This is the weirdest time. I mean, decades from now, we'll be telling younger people about these times and they won't believe it.
Oh no. I mean, it's like learning about the Spanish flu in history class. You're like, that's not going to happen again.
That's not real. So I jumped way out of order. So I usually start, and if you've been watching it, tell me a little bit about what got you into acting. What made you want to become an actress?
I think I've always been like pretty creative as a kid. I've always been more drawn to the arts. So I love to draw. I love to, drawing and storytelling. Those were all things that I really loved. I couldn't do math to save my life, to the disappointment of my entire family. Like truly, like my grandfather was a math professor, and all of his children were kind of in STEM, and he was just baffled that I could not comprehend simple multiplication.
That had to be stressful. Like if everybody in your family is good at math, how could they probably couldn't help you?
I mean, they tried, and I just did not get it. It was challenging. And then, I mean, basically like in middle school, I joined the school's drama club, and that's kind of where I got the acting bug. And I ended up going to an arts high school, and I continued doing theater in university. I did a theater program, and then I've just been acting since. So that's kind of it. Like it's
pretty easy.
It's pretty easy. There weren't too many moments where I really considered doing anything else. So I've always been pretty set on the one thing. And actually, I was working on a show last year, and I reunited with my teacher in middle school who started the drama club.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, his name was David Lawrence Brown, and he was also an actor. So we were sitting side by side doing a scene together. And I was like, you look exactly like my middle school drama teacher. Because he used a different name on the call sheet. He used like a stage name because he was still teaching.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So he was like, he didn't want, I guess, parents on set to know that he's the same person. So he's this amazing stage name. It was something like, oh gosh, it was something Montgomery. It
Oh,
was
very
like
nice.
it sounded like some sort of like,
Like-
like vaudevillian villain. Like it was. So I didn't put the two pieces together.
Did it make you want to have a stage name?
I feel like there's so many things you can do with my name. It might as well be a stage name.
Well, did he recognize you? Was he just not saying, or did you have to remind him that you had?
I had to remind him. I mean, he's taught thousands of students.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it was really special because I was kind of like, if it weren't for his drama club, I don't know if or when I would have found acting.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I might have been a completely different person. I could
well, I know you wouldn't have been a math teacher. What would you have maybe done if you weren't doing acting?
I think I would have gone into either marine biology or I think it might have taken me a little bit longer to figure out, but probably a chef.
Oh, now that's interesting.
Yeah,
seems like marine biology, you'd have to do some math.
Yeah. By grade 12, I realized if I really want to pursue the science, even biology, I still have to have some math.
A little bit of math. But now, chef, a little bit. Do you cook?
I do. I love to cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your specialty?
Oh, my specialty. Oh, that's a good question. Lately, I've gone into a lot of kimchi making this year.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's very healthy for you.
It is very healthy, yeah. And it's just a bit of a longer process to make. It's not super hard. But a few months ago, I got a bunch of my friends together and I kind of made everyone make kimchi with me. But I boiled some pork, like I made like a soft boiled pork to kind of entice everyone to come over and help me make
that
kimchi.
would work with me. I'd be okay. I mean, actually, you can have me at kimchi. I actually like kimchi. It's pretty good.
It's good. And it's really fun to make on your own. It's a bit cheaper too. It's just more labor.
I mean, do you have to ferment it? How do you get the pickle type of?
Yeah. So you kind of, you salt the cabbage to kind of wilt it down, and then you kind of make a paste with like peppers and onions and garlic and like kind of a rice porridge. Then the sugar from the rice kind of helps the cabbage ferment. Yeah. And depending on how funky you like it, the longer you leave it out at room temperature, the more it'll ferment. But I actually really like the taste of fresh kimchi, so I just leave it out for like a day and then I put it in the fridge.
Well, now see that I don't think I've ever had fresh. I bet that tastes pretty good because you're getting a little bit of the best of both.
Yeah, a little best of both. It's good to eat on its own.
Yeah. Well, and I know it's super healthy, and we're all looking for ways to improve our health a little bit, and the fermented stuff, that's pretty good for you.
Yeah, I get the good probiotics and all that.
Of all the things, I thought you'd say kimchi wasn't the one I thought you picked. That's really cool. You're the first kimchi chef that I've met.
Wow, thank you. I don't know if I can call myself a chef. But yeah, that's just kind of the latest thing that I've kind of been a little bit.
Are you just self-taught, or did somebody teach you how to make some of that?
I'm mostly self-taught. I would say like my family, like everyone in my family is a pretty good cook. Like my mom's a really good cook. So I've always been like helping in the kitchen. I learned to make dumplings when I was a kid. And
I love dumplings.
I love dumplings too. And
not as healthy.
Not as healthy, but so healthy for the soul.
Yeah, so good.
So good. I actually made dumplings the other day. I usually buy the wrappers, but this time I decided like I'll make the wrappers from scratch. Mm-hmm. It's way too overrated. It was too much work.
I'm ashamed to say that there was a period of time when I was in college where I kept dating a girl because her mother made the best dumplings. And I knew it wasn't going to work out, but I was like, oh, man, those dumplings are so good.
Yeah, you knew it wasn't right to keep going. But every time you're invited for dinner, you're like,
that was it. I was like, okay, maybe another week.
Did she catch on at all that you were staying with her for her mother's dumplings?
I'm guessing at some point she's caught on. Luckily we're still friendly. She's done
good.
very well. She obviously did just fine when she stopped feeding me dumplings. I do miss the dumplings though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As when you're growing up, and you kind of like all your stuff is earmarked by the food you were eating at the time. For me, anyway. So like all the big events, I remember the big events based on the food that was there at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All of the holidays, the celebrations, or just like the day-to-day comfort foods.
That comfort food is the best. You can't do it all the time, but the best.
No, you can't. I've come to that age where I'm like, I can't eat all my comfort foods as much as
how
I
do you
need
do
to be comforted.
You love to cook? How do you keep from just eating it all the time?
I don't do a very good job. I don't do a very good job. That's about it. I mean, I try to cook, like I think most of my meals are pretty healthy. I try to kind of load it with veggies and fresh ingredients.
Oh yeah, very nice.
It's hard. I think about food almost like 95% of my day is thinking about what to eat next.
I've got celiac disease, right? So I can't have wheat, and I'm 100% positive that I got it in order to keep me from weighing 600 pounds.
It's true. I can't, like, I try to cut back on carbs whenever I can, but noodles are my to-go comfort food, and it's like the less I have it, the more I want it, and it's
I know. Have you ever done keto?
I have not fully done keto, but I did discover shirataki noodles lately.
Oh, I've had those. Yeah. I've never heard of those, but they're actually not bad.
They're actually not bad. Yeah. And I was like, they're like low carbs, high fiber, like almost no calories. And I've learned to make a few dishes with them. And
they're actually kind of amazing because they fill you up. They don't taste too bad. And there's nothing bad in them.
Yeah. Nothing that can kill you or give you diabetes.
My wife and I did keto for a couple of months a few years ago, and it worked. I got really skinny, but then we're like, we're going to do it till Thanksgiving, and then we're going to stop, and then we'll start back up after the holidays. Well, that was like 3 years ago. We have never started back up. I knew like Thanksgiving Day, I was eating Thanksgiving Day, and I was like, I'm not going back. Yeah,
you can't go back. You're like, this is what I've been missing this whole time. It's not worth
so much better than being skinny. So I know that you write a little bit. You've written some shorts, right? Tell me a little bit about that. What got you into the writing side of it?
Actually, I used to write a lot more as a playwright.
Yeah.
When I was still in school, and I was involved with a lot of different playwriting units. I was a playwright in residency at a few places. I was like a pretty prolific writer, and then I actually hit a wall. I hit a wall, and I stopped for several years.
What's that feel like when you hit it, when you're used to writing all the time, and then all of a sudden it just kind of dries up?
It was conflicting. It was. I felt very conflicted about it because, writing was something that I enjoyed doing and that I liked, but it wasn't something that made me. It wasn't something that I actually. In retrospect, I realized I don't actually love it as much,
right,
compared to acting, and it was something that I felt I was kind of directed towards doing because and that's completely. I'm very grateful for all of the support that I did have to put me into writing, but it was just I think I hit a wall, and I felt quite conflicted because I felt like I wasted years of my life developing this craft, and then I just wanted to completely drop it. So one of my shorts, Mayflowers, was something that I wrote out of necessity. It was a group of friends, we got together and decided to enter a 48-hour playwriting 48-hour film challenge. And so it's one of those things, you go in on the day, you pick your genre, you pick your whatever, and then you have to 48 hours go write something. So it was a script that I wrote in like an hour and a half, and then it ended up doing really well. Like it made Best of Fest. It won
That
Best
probably made you
Director.
conflicted too.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Well,
like
then
I'm
you're like,
very,
well, I'm kind of good at this, but
but it does take a lot more.
yeah,
It takes. I think for me, really, I just kind of lost the drive. Um,
yeah.
to want to create something. So then the other project that I have that's in development was a project that the creators approached me to work on. It's called The Next Big Thing. It's a musical anthology
I love that.
about 5 characters. So I wrote for one of the characters, and I also really enjoyed it. Like I think um, I was really happy with the end result, and they're looking to turn it into a feature now. So that's really
That's
exciting.
exciting.
Yeah,
Are
yeah, but
they are the so I'm guessing they had somebody different wrote each part of the
yes,
five. So
yeah,
do at some point do they intertwine or are they all just stand alone?
yeah, they do. They kind of all intertwine. It's about like 5 aspiring artists and kind of their journey that kind of led them to all be part of this showcase,
Yeah.
to kind of take a chance on themselves and to pursue their work. So that's kind of the story that it tells. And I kind of wrote the part of the composer, which is actually inspired by the story of the actual composer in the film. Yeah.
Are you musically inclined?
I would say I'm music competent. Um,
I know what that means because I'm not music competent, but I absolutely know what that means. So you know your way around a little bit.
I know my way. Yeah, like I play the flute,
Oh, very nice.
and I can read music, and I sang in choirs. But music is one of those things I have to work really hard to
Yeah.
be competent. um, yeah, I have a lot of friends who are musicians, and it's just I can see the gap in our skills, in our understanding of it too. And I think it also has ties into to math, where like again, like
Yeah.
the music and math tie in.
Yeah, they do actually,
Tie in all.
surprisingly.
Yeah, and so I'm already not good at math. So music is something that I have to really work at.
My stepchildren are very, very talented musicians, and they're like their father and that side of the family, just incredible musicians. And I've always been just a big admirer of that because they can pick up anything. And if you give them 20 minutes, they can play it. It's
Yeah,
amazing. And it's all by ear. And, they get together as a family and they'll do the little jam sessions and everybody's good. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is
this is
amazing. I didn't get it.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
have none of that. I'll just be your audience.
Yeah, I will clap at the end.
That's right. Well, so you write and you cook. Are you creative in other ways?
Am I creative in
Do
other
you
ways?
paint or do you draw anything like that? Sculpt?
Yeah. I wish I sculpt. I actually recently have started an interest in pottery.
Oh, very
Uh,
nice. Yeah,
yeah.
my
So
wife
my
does pottery. That's fun.
Oh, does she? Yeah. So I was watching this Japanese anime about like a pottery club in a girl in a high school, and it got me really interested. And so my partner for our anniversary gift got me a pottery lesson next week. So
Very nice.
I get to kind of learn from a pottery master, and we get to have like a master class and
Oh,
learn how
that's
to
awesome.
make 3 pieces. Yeah, and then if I like it, which I suspect I will, I can continue and sign up for a full course.
I think those are important. If you're a creative type person, it's important to find those outlets that you can do and be creative, but there's no real stress because you're not like
Yes.
trying to learn a living on it or anything. So you can just go and enjoy it.
I think that's what makes this so enjoyable. That's why I love to cook. It's just like my livelihood's not dependent on this. I can just enjoy it. Hopefully for pottery as well. I have a dream that I'll be able to make that all of the plates and bowls and mugs in my home will be homemade.
Oh, I love it. We're kind of like that, like the coffee mugs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of planners.
Oh.
I had her make me. I always take my ring off when I go to the gym, but I never have anywhere to put it. So she made me a little dish that just that's all it's for, is just to hold my ring. So I know where it's at. I don't lose it, but it's kind of hard to work out with a ring on. It kind of hurts your hand. So I never like just leaving it sitting in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah. Well, that's so nice. You have a little ring dish.
I got a little ring dish, and that's all that's allowed in there.
Is the ring.
Yes, the ring. Yeah, she tried that. She was putting, little knickknack. I was like, no. I was like, that's for my ring. You make yourself something for your knickknacks.
Keep your pocket change out of my dish.
That's right. We do not want nickels and dimes in there. Come on. Did I see that you have been doing audiobooks?
I have, yeah. That was something during the pandemic that I tried, that I got into.
That's not easy either.
No, it's a slog. I mean, I'm doing another one this month, but it is.
Do you have a place in where you're at? Where do you do those at?
I go to a studio
very nice.
to do it. But yeah, it is very tiring. But I also kind of like it because I find it's such good exercise for acting and cold reading. Because you don't really get too many chances of doing of reading an audiobook. You kind of just have to go through, and I like it because it kind of just, I don't know, it kind of just works my muscles in a different way.
Right.
Yeah, to have to come up with, to lift a story off the page with just my voice. It's a fun challenge, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Do you read the book ahead of time, or are you just going in and kind of winging it?
I mean, I'm sure like people who are really good probably just wing it. But no, I like to read ahead of time just so I have an idea of what the shape is. But it's fun. It's not a bad way to get paid and read a book.
No, that's right. Do you have does somebody direct you? Do you have notes, or is it just your interpretation basically?
It's mostly my interpretation, but we do work with a director who I guess during the pandemic would Zoom in.
Yeah.
And so they may stop me or ask me to do the read a different way. Like if I stuttered through something, they might ask me to redo it. But it's overall pretty self-directed in terms of where I want to place the voices and where how I want to shape the paragraph. But yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of a neat thing. I've always wanted to do voice work, and I never imagined that it would be audiobooks.
Well, didn't you do like it was a book that had some action in it, right? So you had to read some, I guess, some action parts, which I think would be interesting to do as an audiobook.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to try, and I was kind of intimidated because I was like, oh my God, there's a lot going on in this book. It's called Iron Widow, so it's got like giant mechas, and it's sci-fi, and it's Chinese. So there was also like Chinese names that they want to spoken in Chinese, so switching back and forth between the Chinese pronunciations and then going back into English. It was a little bit tricky.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. It was a very fun book to read, and it was. Being so action packed, it was fun to go through. At least it wasn't like an instruction manual. Right.
Yeah. Keep your interest, I think, doing it. That's really cool. Do you, I'm assuming you speak Chinese, English. Do you speak any other languages?
No, not really. It's mostly like my Mandarin is pretty conversational. I can't read and write in Chinese.
Right.
So like, I mean, I think I have the literacy of like a kindergartner. But I can have,
but you can get by.
I can get by. I can have conversations. I can't have like a very deep conversation. But I can, if I were to move back to China, I can.
If you were lost in a small town in China, you could communicate that you needed help.
Yes, I can.
My wife worked the Olympics in China, so she was gone for
one?
It's was it 2008? 2008. It was the year we got married. Yeah, wow. 2008. So she was there for a couple of months, but before she went, the whole family was doing the the taped trying to learn how to speak Mandarin. And because she's playing it all the time to try to pick it up. Mm-hmm. And by the time she left, we all spoke just a little bit of it. We could say a few sentences and stuff, but now it's gone. Like she can still speak a little bit of it, but if you don't use it, it doesn't stay.
Yeah,
now it's been 15 years. I don't remember any of it now, but at the time, I could probably tell people that, I could say I'm sorry and probably ask for water. That was probably what I could do.
There you go. But you do need the environment. The times that I have gone back to China, I even went back once for a Mandarin course. It was I needed a credit for humanities in university, and it worked out to be like a trip back to China. So I was kind of like, great, I'll get my credit and I'll go back to see my family. But during that time, I was just like, my Mandarin improved so dramatically.
Yeah.
Because it was just all around me. And then as soon as I came back, it was just like 50% of it just dropped off.
Yeah, it just drops off. I think it's a fun language to listen to. Like I enjoy listening to people speak it, but at times it can seem so fast.
Yes.
I'm just like, what's going on? But I'm sure that's the same with all languages. When you're comfortable speaking something, you don't pay attention to somebody else that's trying to pick it up. So you just talk at what you think is a normal speed, but probably sounds really fast to somebody that doesn't speak the language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we got to talk Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
Oh, okay.
Because I was so excited. I'm a big Trek fan, and grew up watching the original series and then watching Next Generation, all the stuff. Mm-hmm. But I always wanted to know more about Captain Pike. I was like, they need to do a show about Captain Pike.
Yeah.
And they picked the best guy to do it. I love him as an actor. He's so good. And then they have filled out the cast, which is not easy because you're having to do characters that these icons played. Mm-hmm. And they figured, and then they brought in some of you new ones in there, and it's working so well. I'm so happy with it.
Oh, I'm so glad. And you're right. Like the cast is incredible. Like Anson is the most incredible captain of the starship.
He's got the best hair on that show.
He's got great hair, and Ethan is such an incredible Spock. Like I think he's my favorite Spock, hands down. Yeah, and you have Uhura and Number One, and they're all just so good.
Uhura was a nice surprise. I didn't realize they were going to do her on the show, so that was pretty awesome.
Isn't it cool? Like you kind of see her as like a cadet, kind of like her entry into the ship, which is great. I think it's just a great way to kind of bring new fans up on board, because you're like, new to the Enterprise.
Yeah, so it's filling in some of the gaps. Mm-hmm. Up until, because you had Star Trek Enterprise, mm-hmm. and then now you've got your show, and then you've got the original series on the timeline. So it's filling in some of that. For us nerds, we like those gaps filled in.
Yeah.
Well, like there was an episode came out today, right?
Yesterday. Yeah, I think it was episode 5 came out. Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't watched that one yet. The last one I watched was the Gorn episode.
Yes, the Gorns.
Love that episode.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, the return of the Gorns.
Yeah.
It was really good. I love that episode. I mean, I love the series because it's a little bit more, the stories are more self-contained. And so every episode gets to really kind of play with themes. And the Gorn episode just shot like a horror film a little bit.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was a lot of fun.
Were you, and I know you were, but were you a fan before you got the role?
I was, I kind of consider myself a failed Trekkie. I've loved the franchise. Like it wasn't something that I grew up with.
Yeah.
But it was something that that was so much part of the zeitgeist and so much part of popular culture that I've always wanted to know it better. And so when they made the movies with Chris Pine.
Right.
When they made the movies with Chris Pine, that was my first time going to the movie theater. I'm like, I'm going to watch a Star Trek movie. And it got my interest.
Yeah, they were good.
And got my interest in the series. So my friend and I, that I watched a movie with, Mickey, we decided, because he was in the same boat, we both like a lot of the same nerdy things, but neither of us really got into Star Trek. So we were like, why don't we do a blog? We'll call it Watching Star Trek. And every week we'll upload 2 posts reviewing the episodes from TOS and like in chronological order. I think we fell off around like episode 16 or something. I don't know if the blog still exists, but it just got hard because I love to binge, so I started binging, and then I got farther and farther away from the episode that I was supposed to cover. That eventually I was like, oh, I have to go back 20 episodes now. Like, I don't want to write this blog anymore.
I know blogs always sound like a good idea. Really tough to keep up.
It's really hard to keep up. And I know I had my own blog before when I was younger. I had a blog called The Wrong Ideas.
Oh, I like that.
And it's and I meant to like keep it up. I was like, oh, I really want to like, put my thoughts in. And I deleted that blog like 2 times over the course of having it, because I was just like, I don't want this to be online anymore. I'm going to start over. And now it's completely taken down. But yeah, blogging is hard. It's so much maintenance.
It's tough. So the Gorn episode reminded me of Balance of Terror from the original series. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it was the one where they were fighting. It was the Romulans in the Gorn role, and they'd never seen the Romulans, so nobody knew what they looked like or anything. And then at the end, they find out they look just like Spock, and that caused problems. But it kind of reminded me of that feel, because it was a very tense, kind of episode, and the Gorn one had that, but the Gorn one wasn't just tense, it was scary.
That's a very classic episode. I'm not going to say anymore.
So you're playing Jenna Mitchell, Lieutenant Jenna Mitchell, which is a navigator.
Yes.
On the ship. Did you have to learn to do anything with the little controls?
I mean, I really hoped that someone would come and give us like a tutorial on how to actually fly the Enterprise. But it was like a combination of a lot of it. They left it to us to kind of decide and make up. So I remember the first time sitting at the helm with Melissa, who plays Ortegas. We're both
we have Melissa on the show.
Yeah, she's awesome, and we were both kind of like, really is this like how do we which button do we press to fly? when he says hit it, which button do we press?
Because if you do it wrong, there's going to be a fan out there that's going to know it.
Well, that's exactly it. We know the fans they have such a keen eye for all of the details that we didn't want to get called out. But like the graphics are so incredible that they really do actually time it to the action when we're filming. So it's actually all very helpful. Like I thought it would just be blank screens or like a blue screen, and I would have to just kind of pretend, but it's actually there, with the thrusts and the torpedoes. Like it pops up when there's like an alarm.
Well, how neat!
Yeah, and you're like, wow, they like, oh my god, like the VFX department is so amazing.
Yeah. That's pretty great. Are we going to learn more about Jenna as the series goes on?
We do. She comes back a little bit more in the latter half of the season.
Very nice.
In her position, and yeah, she's a really fun character, and I just love working on the show because I just live out my full fantasy, and I just fully pretend I work for Starfleet, and it's the best job in the world.
I totally would. I would totally be showing up in conventions just in uniform. They wouldn't even have to invite me. I'd just show up that way.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, and we're finishing up season 2 right now.
That's amazing that you're already doing season 2.
Isn't it? Yeah. I remember. Yeah, we started filming season 2 in February. And it was, I remember Chris Fisher was telling us, like, like the fact that we're back before the show even comes out is just credit to.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
The passion that went into the show, and how much fun we were all having, and and it's been exciting to watch the episodes, to see it come out. And
do you watch them as they come out? Do you get with family and watch them, or have you just kind of watched them by yourself?
Well, the first 2 episodes I watched with family because they sent us the screeners ahead of time.
Oh, nice.
And they've been sending us the screeners, but I keep you can only watch them in like 48 hours, and I keep missing that window. So now I'm just watching it as they come out every week, and it's actually I really enjoy it.
Yeah. I kind of like the weekly format. We've gotten so used to binge watching everything. It's kind of nice having, because I like when I was growing up, it was like appointment television. You had to be there when it came out. If you missed the episode, you were just out of luck till the reruns came around.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you had a whole week to talk to everybody about what happened in the shows and stuff. So
and to really digest it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes with shows like, I'm thinking Stranger Things that I want to start pretty soon. I'm like,
it's so good this season.
It's been 3 years since the last season. So I'm like, I have so much I don't remember a lot of where they left off. And I feel like,
they do a really good job with the recap at the beginning.
Oh, good. There's a recap in the beginning. Okay.
There's a recap. So that helps. But you know what they did? They released 7 episodes. And they held 2 of them back. So you got to wait till July for the others. The last 2 don't come out till July.
Oh, interesting. I wonder why they did that.
I don't know. Because when they said they're releasing it in 2 parts, I was like, oh, well, we're going to get, probably 7 the first time and 6 the second time.
Yeah.
It's a 9 episode. Just 2.
Oh, wow.
But they're long. Like each episode's like an hour and 15 minutes. So they're
okay. Do you think they're wrapping it up this season?
No, I'd heard that there's one more season coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one's good. This was probably my favorite season since maybe the first one.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I look forward to watching it.
No, it's been a pretty good show. I'm torn with the binging stuff because I'm like everybody else. I love it. But then you finish it so quick and then you're just like, oh.
There's like I always feel a little mild depression after I finish binging something. There's no more.
That's all we get.
So I think the weekly format is good. It keeps you
it keeps you kind of excited about it for a longer period of time, because when you binge you're super excited, but then it's over.
And then it's over.
Yeah.
And then there's always someone who could spoil things for you if you don't get to binge as far as they did,
I know back in my day, I'm dating myself, but all you had to do to avoid spoilers was tell people, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. I haven't watched it yet. Don't tell me.
Don't tell me. Yeah.
Is there a chance that Jenna Mitchell has some type of relationship with Gary Mitchell from the original series?
That's a good question, because when I got Cats, I was like, Mitchell, if this Mitchell exists, and then Gary Mitchell popped up, and I decided, no, I don't think we have anything in common.
I'm assuming,
but I don't know. I actually
know.
I genuinely don't know. Yeah,
because technically, you would be older than his character.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, maybe not. Maybe his character, because it's 10 years.
Yeah.
So his character could be older than you, but in the timeline you would have came first.
I would have came first. Yeah. So
but he could technically still be, because he was an older gentleman when he played it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm hoping there's a connection, because I'm assuming you know a little bit about Gary Mitchell. He was the one that had kind of like the godlike powers.
No, I did not know that.
You need to go and watch that episode. So he ends up getting these powers, and he's causing all kinds of problems, and they have to kind of shut him down. So just saying, you need to find out about that, because what if Jenna ends up with some powers?
I hope so. I mean, I really need to investigate a lot further.
It's like the telekinesis or telepathy type powers.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think I didn't read into it as much as I needed to on Memory Alpha, which is like an incredible encyclopedia.
Love Memory Alpha, and it's probably nothing. There's probably no connection, but I'm hoping there is.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, I mean, there are so many legacy characters on the show, and that's really fun. But I also kind of like the idea of just being like just a new character, just someone new.
Well, and it fits in really well.
Yeah.
You know, like I never thought about that, but when when half of your group is known characters, even if it's different people playing them, you can't just have those characters. You have to have other people for them to interact with. And I've enjoyed everybody they've brought on, and you've just been terrific. I can't wait for I thought your stuff was coming second half, and that's exciting.
Oh, yes. Yeah. There's some really exciting episodes coming out that I really love. Episode 8 in season 1 in particular, it's just an episode that I adore. But yeah, it's such a fun show.
Was it different filming season 1 compared to season 2? I know you probably have more COVID stuff going on season 1, but for you, just being on, were you like more relaxed filming season 2 than you were when you came in season 1?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it didn't really feel like we took a lot of time away before we came back.
Well, I don't think you did.
Not too much, really. Like I think they fully wrapped the end of August last year. And then we came back in February. But it felt nice. It felt nice to kind of put the costume on again and step back on the bridge. It was my first time doing a second season of a show I've been on before.
That's
so
exciting.
A really special feeling to kind of, it has a bit of a sense of a homecoming. And it's a lot of the same crew as well, and they're all incredible. And so it's nice to also just come back and see a lot of the same faces and same people that, got to know last season.
Do you have a group like text message chat type of thing that you keep in contact with other people?
No. I'm like terrible at like group chats. Like I don't even check, I don't even keep social media on my phone at all. So I kind of.
That's probably smart, honestly.
Yeah. It's just, it's just for me, at least, I was just like, this is it's not a distraction that I need. And so instead I have Pokemon Go, and I use that to kill time.
That's enough distraction.
Yeah.
You know that most Star Trek shows run 7 seasons, so you could be doing this for a while.
Maybe, hopefully, as long as they don't kill me.
No. We don't want that. We don't want that.
Not.
Yeah, if they go down this Gary Mitchell storyline, they got to cure you at some point. We can't have you. This is going to air, and they're going to be calling you and be like, "How do you know?"
I really hope not. Can we cut that part out? I don't want to give them any ideas. Well, it's very funny when I've told friends that I was doing Star Trek. They were like, "Oh, what shirt are you wearing? What shirt color are you wearing?" I'm like, "Red," and they're like, "Oh, it's not a good sign."
I wonder if they'll go into that at all, because that kind of started with the original series. You had all this.
Red shirts always die.
Yeah, the red shirts always die. I wonder if they will allude to that in this series. poor people in the red.
In the red.
You need to switch departments.
I need to switch departments. Yeah. I sometimes I think about this when I'm like, like if I were to really work on Starfleet, like would I be in engineering or would I be in like sciences? I don't know.
I don't know, because there's math.
That's true.
You'd probably be on the bridge driving the ship.
Yeah.
That's great. Rong, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I'm such a fan of yours. I know you're just getting started. I know we're going to see so much more from you. Can't wait.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Oh, you're so welcome. So a couple of little things before I let you go. I know you're filming season 2, so I'm guessing that you're not doing anything else right now, but anything else that you're doing that we can keep an eye out for?
Oh, well, that's such a good question. I haven't even thought about it. Yeah, I mean, I'm reading a new audiobook this month, and then potentially filming another series at the end of the month.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the genre? I know you probably can't tell me yet what it is. What's the genre?
It's a drama. But it's an anthology. And I think until everything's fully finalized.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with those.
Yeah.
So where can we find you on the social media that you try to avoid?
I mean, you can find me on social media at Wrong Ideas, but I'm really never there.
Yeah. Yeah, I found you on there.
Yeah.
You gotta get on there and post a picture once in a while. That's the
Oh, I know. And then it's just too much. It's too much upkeep that I'm able.
You gotta have a guy. You gotta get a guy to do that for you.
Yeah, I need like a younger cousin or someone.
Yes, that's it. That's it. The younger ones, they love doing that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Rong. And let's do this again. Maybe once season 2 comes out, maybe you can come back.
I will love that. Yeah.
That'd be terrific. Okay, hold on one second. All right, so that was the talented, lovely Rong Fu. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think she's such a talented actress. Loving her on the new show, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. Hope you guys are as well. You guys know I'm a big Trek fan, and I think they're doing a really good job doing fan service, bringing us something new. Really good. Really enjoying that. If you guys haven't yet, I'm going to ask you, like I always do, please do us a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. It would really, if I can get it out, it would really help us out. We take those numbers, those subscription numbers, those download numbers, and we use those to help us get more guests. So you can help us if you want to support the podcast by just subscribing. It's free. You just click, and that really helps us out. And in return, you get access to all 400 episodes that we have out there. And there are so many great guests. If you're a Trek fan, we've got a Star Trek playlist. There's about 15 different interviews we've done with various cast from the different shows. So you can check that out. You can also find all of those episodes, audio and video, on our website, meistercon.com. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, all that will be on the website, meistercon.com, so you can check that out. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.